You know what one of the best parts about this truck is? It's that it's just a truck. It feels like a regular F-150. And that's hugely important to it being a successful machine. But you know what the other best part about this truck is? This being the all-electric Ford F-150 Lightning. It's the fact that since it is electric, it has shitloads of torque! All right, let's back it down for a second and kick this thing into gear. This is the all-new Ford Lightning. And I gotta tell you, I really, really like this thing. I don't think that's a huge surprise because we're dealing with what is essentially a very good truck with a very good powertrain. So, the F-150 Lightning comes in two flavors basically with respect to power. They're all dual motor, all-wheel drive vehicles. They all make 775 pound-feet of torque, which is just fantastic. The difference in horsepower comes if you have the standard battery or the extended range battery. And it's at least a $10,000 jump to get to the extended range battery, but I gotta tell you it's worth it because you go from 4-something horsepower up to 580 horsepower. 0 to 60 at that point is 4 seconds flat, which I think is a full second faster than any gas-powered Lightning ever could do. It's very comfortable, it's very quiet, it's very well built, and at the same time it is very familiar as just an F-150. There's nothing crazy, there's no insane drive mode selector. You just get in, you hit the button, you put in drive, and you go. There's no gimmicks, there's no silliness. It's just, it brakes well. It drives nicer than a regular F-150 because it has an independent rear suspension out back. You know, it's coil sprung back there. So the on-road ride is nicer regardless of if you have something in the bed or not. The only complaint about the actual driving dynamics for me is that the steering is just like lifeless and rubbery, but you get used to it, it's comfortable, it's not too light, it just rubber bands a little bit at slow speeds when you're turning the wheel and it snaps back. But that's it. Everything else is great. Like I said, the brake feel is awesome. It's not some like weirdo hybrid brake feel. It's just good quality brakes. It slows down well. It goes exceptionally well. And then since this is the extended range, they quote about 300 to 320 miles. I'm seeing closer to 260 out of this, according to the trip indicator, that is. But that's because I also can't stop myself from absolutely flat-footing it around town. And it picks up speed and it goes, and it's really impressive, and it's just super fun. That might have been a cop. But he's following a bright green sports car, so I think we're okay. So it's also these seats. These cloth seats are excellent. These are super comfortable seats. I don't know if you can get these in the regular truck or not, the gas powered truck, but if you can, I say spec them. This one is a Lariat. So hold up, wait a minute. As usual, I'm a big dummy. I thought this was a Lariat, but it's an XLT. I'll put the Windows sticker, or at least the build spec, on the screen back to past me being wrong. I think this one has Blue Cruise, but I don't have a need to use it. I've just been cruising around. I haven't used that much energy, to be totally honest too, with respect to range. I've only had to plug it in at my house once, and I didn't even really need to do it. I just wanted to see what it would do on my home charger. And I'm only just getting below 200 miles of range indicated in the truck now. So it just feels solid and well built. I mean, those are things, of course, you're going to expect from an F-150. They've been making these for eons. They crank them out in insane numbers, and then this one just happens to have a different powertrain. That's all this feels like. It feels like all the other F-150s, it's just a different powertrain choice. And it's probably just an incredibly fun one. The 5-liter V8 is good. The Raptor is obviously awesome. Raptor R is a completely different animal. Shenanigans? Sure. But just regular F-150s, this is a hell of a powertrain choice. I really like the hybrid F-150, but if you live in an area where you can charge this up, where you're not gonna get crazy penalties for cold time battery level in range, because I know that can take a hit, obviously, in the colder weather, but just here in Southern California where I live, this thing is absolutely excellent. I could do a long road trip in this, mapping out the charging stations efficiently, just because, like I said, the seat is super comfortable. The sound system is good enough. It's not like anything amazing, but it's not bad either. And the only thing I would change too is this one. This has some lame-ass tires on it. I don't care for the tires. I don't want to take this in the dirt. Not that this is an FX4, and they're not doing an FX4 because they're kind of saying like it's partly all the way there, because you essentially have locked diffs on both ends. You have front and rear skid plates. You just don't have the suspension and any sort of off-road tuned mode for the drive modes. So I do disagree. I think it would be neat to see an FX4 or a Tremor version of this. But as it is, there's people who've already modified these with wheels and tires, and they've gotten good results. So someone already put a GoFastCamper in the back of one of these, and it looks awesome. So he had to modify the fenders, I think, or maybe the cut of the bumper to fit 35s, because they were gonna rub a little bit, but with some little cutting, he got it to clear. But if you just put some slightly, just a regular all-terrain tire on these, so you could take it in the dirt, up a trail, it would be an absolute blast. I'm not taking it. Again, I'll show you a picture of the wheels and tire setup on this that are much more geared towards just on-road comfort and range maximization. So, but that's an easy fix. That is a very easy fix at home. The rest of the truck, absolutely excellent machine. So obviously then we come to the sticking point of the truck, which is price. They've raised the price since they've launched this, they said, because of supply constraints and demand. So they're raising the price rather than letting dealers do ADMs, which they're probably gonna do on them anyway. The base price for a Ford Lightning Pro is now $58,000. When it first launched, it was $48,000. That's a huge jump in price. And you don't get the cool signature light bar across the nose, which is a bit of a bummer, but the Pro's a work truck. That's what, it's a work truck, so whatever. Pro is at 58, and then it climbs. The Platinum at the top of the hill is 98. Tons and tons and tons of money. This one, as tested, is 76, but I think that price is actually for 2022, because I think this would be closer to the mid-80s for 2023. That's tough, man. $80,000. At that point, you're up in Rivian territory, and that feels like a more luxurious product. And you can get it, well, if you get the quad motor, you get 835 horsepower in those, but you can no longer get the quad motors with the max pack. You can only get the large packs, but you can get dual motors with the max pack, and they're bumping the power on those to 700 horsepower. So, who knows where you're gonna land. I think this is because it's an F-150 at its core, it's a proven product, and the drivetrain underneath it is excellent. I'm happy to say that the Ford Lightning kicks serious butt. Know going into it, if you think you're gonna use it as a tow rig, you're cutting your range in half. If you live in a cold area, that's a hit to range. I don't know what the percentage hit is, but there are people doing things in these. There's people overlanding them, there's people already doing fun stuff. So it is possible, and if you're thinking about getting one, don't let those ideas hamper your opinion or your goals. Go out, get a Lightning if you can find one at a good price, and have a blast. What is this guy doing? Mr. fucking Johnny Motorcycle here is doing, besides going 10 under.